We are live. What's going on, guys? Last slate before the Christmas one. Should be a good one. 11 games. We have a lot to talk about, honestly. A lot of injuries. Still up in the air. We're still waiting on some news. So let's go over what we know so far. So we'll start at the beginning of the day. Embiid, questionable. We're still waiting on that. I believe it's a game time decision. Let's see. John Collins won't have a minutes limit, so that makes him in play at his price point. I believe that's 7.6K. Marcus Morris doubtful, so that is somewhat big. I did like him going into this slate with him now out. That's just a usage boost to a guy like Julius Randle. We'll see who they end up starting. My best guess is going to be a guy like Kevin Knox, who would have some interest in if he does start. Let's see. Luke Kennard is out for the Pistons, but D Rose is probable, so it's not a huge, huge deal there for those Pistons guys. SHABAZZ Napier, this is pretty big for me because I currently have him in my lineup right now. He is questionable with an illness, and it sucks because it's the late game of the night, and we probably won't get that news till way later. But if SHABAZZ plays, I think he's one of the best value plays at his price if he starts. Let's see, other options. So Jeremy Lamb is now in, but Malcolm Brogdon is out. Blake Griffin on track to play. Elfrid Payton will remain in the starting lineup. Again, Joel Embiid, game time decision. Stanley Johnson, probable. Not huge news there. Again, Collins in the starting lineup. No Glenn Robinson. That kind of secures more minutes for a guy like Damian Lee. Maybe even Alex Burks gets a little more run. The Wizards are starting Ish Smith, Beal, Bonga, Schofield, and Mahimi. Talk about some of those value guys. I talked in the video about Ish Smith and Beal, but we kind of looked at a guy like Troy Brown as well as Schofield is going to be somewhat popular as value guys. And then let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, so no Malcolm Brogdon. Aaron Holiday is going to start in his place, so he stands out as a pretty solid value play. We can also look to a guy like T.J. McConnell. I think his minutes go up. We've seen him, have some big games when he is, gets some minutes. And this just came out now. Taj Gibson out as well as Marcus Morris. So with now Taj Gibson out, they're pretty, they're more thin in the front court, I should say. I think, Mitchell Robinson gets more run. He's always an option, but, the worry with him is the foul trouble concern. Randle should be locked into the big minutes. I think even maybe Bobby Portis gets a little extra run. But if we just take a quick look at these over-unders and spreads before getting the salaries. Hawks, Cavs, 229.5. The Hawks are by 1.5 points. Bulls, Magic, 206.5. The Magic are favored by 5 points. 76ers, Pistons is at 216. The 76ers favored by 6. Again, we got Joel Embiid, game time decision. Raptors, Pacers, 209.5. The Pacers favored by 5.5 points. Wizards, Knicks, 227.5. The Knicks are by 3.5. This one is going to be a pretty popular game to target, but I do want some exposure there, especially for cash games. Jazz, Heat, pretty unappealing game, 213.5. The Heat favored by 5. Spurs, Grizzlies, 227. Spurs favored by 1.5. Nuggets, Suns, 217.5. The Nuggets favored by 3.5. Rockets, Kings, 230.5. Rockets favored by 6.5. So that one's one of the higher ones of the day. Pelicans, Trailblazers, 229.5. But Portland favored by 6. I like a lot of the Portland guys. Then Minnesota Golden State 222 with Minnesota favored by 1.5. So let's start going team by team here, and we'll start with the first game of the night, which is probably going to be the most popular game to target for cash games. So Washington, right? They are so thin, like everywhere. No Bertans, no Bryant, no Rui, no Isaiah Thomas, no Mo Wagner. So Brad Beal, obviously at the top, is going to be super popular for cash games. I think you probably go there. I think you probably go Ish Smith. Now this is for cash games. For GPPs, there's a lot of different pivots, but if I was making a cash game lineup, I think I would play both Ish and both Beal. Ish with no Isaiah probably gets over 30 minutes. No Bertans as well. So there's just a lot. Who else is going to be taking shots besides Brad Beal, right? So Ish Smith is, I think, one of the best value plays, and for cash games, I don't think I'd get away from him. So both Ish and Beal for cash games, love those guys. There are pivots. There's a lot of different guys you can go to, but again, if I'm making a cash game lineup, I'd probably start it with those two guys. And then we can consider these value guys as well. Troy Brown would probably be my favorite secondary piece here. He's not starting, but I think the minutes will go up for him a bit. He is, will probably be the number 3 in the offense there. Bertans is playing huge minutes, about 37 a game. Those minutes have to go somewhere. Schofield will pick up some run, but I think I would prefer Troy Brown. I think his upside is a little bit higher, better offensive game as of right now. So I do have a good amount of interest in Troy Brown as a value play. Schofield is starting, right? He's 3.5K. Now, I wouldn't go crazy here and like plug him into all the lineups, but I think he stands out as a decent option. Now, am I going to play him? I don't think so as of right now. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff still up in the air because I have my two like really cheap value guys right now. I have Scal and SHABAZZ Napier, but those are obviously dependent on if Melo plays for Scal and then if SHABAZZ plays himself. So I have some waiting to do. It's a bit risky, but that's the way I'm going right now. If you want to play a safer option for sure, Schofield, I think he probably gets 25 to 30 minutes. I don't think he's going to get you like 40 fancy points, but he can probably get you, 15 to 25. So, again, don't mind him as a value play. Isaac Bonga, I mean, maybe the minutes go up for him. He's such a low usage guy. I mean, probably one of those guys is going to have a big game. Let's see, AP, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. I think him and Mahimi probably split the center minutes, so they really don't have another option. So those two are viable as well. Mahimi 4.4, AP is 3.5. Matthews might get in the rotation, Robinson, but yeah, all in all, again, if we're talking cash games, guys, I think it's Beal and Ish, and then you can consider a guy like Troy Brown and Schofield. Those would probably be the guys I would consider for cash games. You can take shots in like those bigs, the Mahimi and AP, but that's really what I got for Washington. Again, there's a lot to like in this game. Washington's super shorthanded, and the Knicks are shorthanded as well. So no Marcus Morris, no Taj Gibson. Julius Randle, one of my favorite plays. He's going to be really popular on the slate, but I will be eating the chalk for cash games for sure. Again, if you're making a cash game lineup, I think you start it with Ish, Beal, and Randle, and then kind of go from there. That's how I would do it. So I like Randle a lot here at that price. Again, there are pivots, but I will be eating the chalk for cash games on him. With no Taj Gibson, like Mitchell Robinson might get a little extra run, but the concern with him is, he gets limited because he gets in foul trouble, right? He fouled out the last couple of games. I think the upside is definitely there. I just don't know if I could do it for cash games. For GPPs, you could for sure do it. Again, if he stays out of foul trouble, I think he could crush. RJ Barrett, don't mind. I mean, with Marcus Morris out, his usage will go up a bit. He's been a very up and down. ELFRID PAYTON, I do like for GPPs at this price. They said he's going to remain in the starting lineup, which does give me somewhat confidence that he's going to play decent minutes. I think about 25. Maybe even 30 on the high end. And again, this is a really good spot. So ELFRID PAYTON, I don't think I could do it for cash games, but I do really like him as a GPP option. Because if he hits that high end of the minutes, like if he plays 30 minutes, I really think he could crush that salary. KNOX, I don't think they have a starting lineup yet, or at least I haven't seen it. Let me check one more time. With the Knicks starters, again, we know Marcus Morris is out. We know Taj Gibson is out. Oh, wait, here we go. Knicks will start Payton, Barrett, Knox, Randle, Robinson. Okay, so with Kevin Knox now starting, I think he stands out as a decent value option. This is a really good spot. They're somewhat shorthanded as well. I don't think he's going to play huge minutes. I don't think he plays 35. But if he gets like 25 to 30 minutes at this price, he's very much in play. So, yeah, I do have some interest now in Knox that he's starting with no Marcus Morris. No Taj Gibson. Again, you could look to a guy like Bobby Portis. I think that would only be a GPP option. So just to sum it up again for the Knicks, there is a decent amount to like on this side as well. I think the cash game targets for me would be Julius Randle and Kevin Knox at their respective prices. Now for GPPs, again, you can look to Mitchell Robinson, who I think has upside. I think ELFRID PAYTON has a lot of upside. Don't mind RJ Barrett. Don't mind Bobby Portis. But the two cash game options for me would be Knox and Randle. We move on to Toronto and the Pacers. So, Toronto, a little tricky to break down. The top three of Lowry, Ibaka, Fred VanVleet have no issue there. It's not necessarily the best spot, and I don't think I'm going to be getting to any of these three guys just because, the guys in the Washington-New York game I think stand out as better plays, and then we got guys in the later game, so I like a bit more. So this game in general, I know there are some guys you can get to, but I personally am not. Boucher is 100% in play for GPPs. They rode with a bench unit. He played 24 minutes, 41 fantasy points. The game before, though, when he was chalk, he had 13 minutes and 10 fantasy points. Obviously, if he hits like over 20 minutes, I would really like him, but I don't know if that's necessarily secure. So I don't know if I can do it for cash games. I think he's only in the GPP variety for me. Same thing with RHJ, right? He got more run. I think he's only GPPs. Stanley Johnson is actually he's expected to play. I mean, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get, so I can't target him with confidence. But that's kind of what I got, really. Like Lowry, Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, OG. I don't mind if you get to any of those guys. I just don't know if that's the optimal build, at least for cash games. Again, for GPPs, you can for sure do it, right? Like Lowry has flash upside. He's had 60 that last game. Ibaka has flash upside. But just for a cash game perspective, I don't know if I'm going to be getting to any of these Raptors guys. On the Indiana side, so now we got, let's see, where is he? Now we got no Brogdon. It's not updating yet, but he is out. So Lamb is back as well, so they kind of flip-flopped. Lamb, at that price, he's okay. I'm just not going to go out of my way to play him. A guy like Aaron Holiday starting at the point, I do have some interest here, 4.4K. I think he probably gets about 30 minutes, and he does have some upside, so I do like him as a value play. A GPP pivot would be a guy, TJ McConnell, who I think his minutes go up. We've seen when he gets like 20 or so minutes, he can crush. So I do like him a good amount as a GPP option. I think, again, Holiday is probably the cash game option. The other guys, like Sabonis, has flash upside. Again, almost 60 fantasy points that last game. He's been amazing. The price is down on him, so he's perfectly fine for GPPs. Again, I don't know if I can go there for cash, but that is really it for the Pacers side. So move on to Chicago and Orlando. Honestly, not a whole lot I like here. I think my favorite play would be Zach LaVine at 8K, but there's so many other guards in good spots that I think he's only a GPP pivot. Again, I don't think I can do it for cash games. Markkanen, don't mind, but I don't see myself getting there for cash games as well. Carter Jr., Santa Rancy, and Chris Dunn are okay, but another situation where, again, I just don't see myself getting there as far as for one lineup. On the Orlando side, I think Vucevic is probably my favorite play at 8.2K. I do have some interest here, and it's a close call with him or Whiteside. Those two centers really stand out to me. As of right now, I'm just leaning more towards Whiteside, but I have no issue if you want to go Vooch. Again, I think he gets about 33 or so minutes. Chicago, pretty solid matchup. So I do like Vucevic as a spend up. You know, the other Magic guys don't have a whole lot of interest here with Gordon, Fournier, Isaac, Fultz. Not really for me on the slate. I just think there's better options. So let's move on to Atlanta and Cleveland. Now, this game intrigues me. There's always like one game that's like, man, I know this game's gonna go low owned. And it could turn into a fantasy gold mine. This one, it could. Like, it's sitting at, where is it at? Almost 230 with a 1.5 point spread. So the guys in Atlanta side, Trae Young, I mean, you can't go there for cash games, obviously. I don't even know if you can do it for GPPs, right? He's more expensive than Harden. I still honestly don't even know if I would do it as a contrarian GPP option, just too expensive. But John Collins, I do have interest here for GPPs. They said he's not going to be limited, no minutes limit. I think he gets about 35 or so minutes, somewhere in that range. And he does have upside going up against, the Cleveland front court. So I like him for GPPs. Don't know if I can get there for cash. Len, probably not for me. Jabari can't do it. The wings are not for me. So really kind of my main interest, honestly, on the Atlanta side is John Collins. On the Cleveland side, it's pretty simple. It's Love and it's Tristan Thompson. I like both those guys a decent amount. I think both are actually cash game viable if you want to go there. Because, the issue with them is always the blowouts, right? But this game should stay close. So Love and Tristan Thompson, I actually think both are cash game viable. You can obviously go there for GPPs as well. As far as the other options, Clarkson's price is way up. I can't do that. I mean, Osman, I don't mind him. If no Nance, maybe he plays about 26 or so minutes. So I think he's an okay option. But that's what I got for this game. Again, I think this game goes super low owned, but it does have some potential with John Collins on Atlanta side and the two, Cleveland bigs, maybe CD Osman. That's kind of where I would go with this game if I was going to play anyone. Philadelphia, Detroit. So we're still waiting on the Embiid news. Unless I've missed it, I haven't seen an update on it yet. I mean, I just know where he's a game time decision. Let's see. I still haven't seen anything yet. If he plays, I have no interest in anyone on the Philadelphia side. If he misses, we could definitely look to Horford at his price. The other guys in the big three with Simmons, Tobias, even Josh Richardson. But as it stands right now, I assume he's going to go. Again, if he misses, probably Horford gets the biggest boost. So I think Horford would be the direct beneficiary there. The value guys, I just don't know if we have to do on this slate. There's, the Washington value guys. I'll talk about like SHABAZZ Napier, talk about Scala BCA. There's some good value options, like Aaron Holiday, right? So I don't think we would have to take a shot in some of those like Philadelphia secondary pieces, but yeah, that's something we'll have to monitor in this last 30 minutes of the status of Embiid. As far as Detroit goes, not a whole lot I like either. Blake Griffin back, D Rose back. Again, Drummond and Embiid really don't like each other. They're probably going to want to go at it. There is, honestly, some risk that they both get ejected. They really, really don't like each other. Markieff Morris, obviously, off the board. D Rose, or with Blake Griffin back. Kennard is out. Bruce Brown is questionable, so that is somewhat significant. If Bruce Brown misses too, they'd be pretty thin in the backcourt. I think a guy like Tim Frazier would intrigue me at that price at 3.3K. Played 28 minutes, 31 fantasy points, played really well. Almost had a double-double in that time. So he would be a guy that would stand out as a really solid value play if both those guys miss. I'd assume he'd move into the starting lineup. They don't like starting D Rose. I mean, they could start Galloway too, but that's something we'll have to see. Next game here, Utah-Miami. Honestly, this game is pretty much a cross-off for me. Two really, really good defensive teams, played a slow pace. The price of Gobert is up. The price of Mitchell's fine. Bogdanovich, Ingles, yeah, I just don't see myself getting to this game, and I really don't think you have to either. Same thing on the Miami side. Gobert and Bam facing off against each other, two of the best defenders in the league. I have no interest in either of those guys. Jimmy Butler, I guess he would probably be my favorite play in this game at 8.1K, but I still don't see myself getting to him. Dragic back, that takes none and Hero out of play. This was kind of one of those games where you just cross off and move on. Sorry if I'm checking Twitter every couple minutes. I'm just trying to stay updated with this news, guys. Bruce Brown did get ruled out. Okay, so we'll see who Detroit ends up starting. With Bruce Brown and Kennard out, again, I think Tim Frazier is very, very much in play at his price. He is 3.3. We'll see who they start. Kennard and Bruce Brown are two starters, so they could move Frazier and Galloway into the starting lineup. We got to see, but I do like Frazier as a value play if he ends up starting. Let's see, San Antonio and Memphis. Another game I don't have a whole lot of interest in. I mean, there are some somewhat appealing plays with like the big three there with Aldridge, DeRozan, and DeJounte Murray. Probably my favorite being DeJounte Murray at his price, but I just don't see myself getting there in this slate. The value guys, again, I don't see myself getting there. I don't think we have to do it. There's just guys in much better spots. So I wouldn't say much better. I mean, this is a good matchup. You can look to these guys in GPPs, right? Like the big three, Aldridge, DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. You can definitely go there for GPPs. The value guys, like Mills, Derrick White, have flashed upside. You can take shots there again in GPPs. I just don't see myself getting there for cash games. On the Memphis side, more of the same. Jonas Valanciunas is back. That takes a hit to those other bigs with JJJ and Brandon Clark. JV himself, I have some interest for GPPs, but for cash games, don't think I can go there. John Morant, again, some interest for GPPs, but there's just so many good plays at a similar price point that I don't think I can do it for cash games, and that's what I got for that game. As far as Denver and Phoenix, there are some appealing plays here for Denver, right? Jokic at 9.1, he's underpriced. It's a good spot against Phoenix. Jamal Murray and Will Barton have upside. I'd probably prefer Barton for $1,000 less. Paul Millsap actually stands out as a pretty safe option at this price. I don't think he's going to play the huge minutes, right? The game did blow out. He only played 21 the game against the Lakers. So they get a close game. He gets about 25. But at 4.2K, I don't think he's going to kill you. So I think he stands out as a safer option. And that's what I got for Denver. On the Phoenix side, with Rubio now back, not a whole lot I'm excited about. Denver, one of the best defensive teams. So Booker, Rubio, Oubre are okay. Baynes would probably be my favorite play here at 4.7K. I think they need his defense to guard Jokic. He played 32 minutes the game against Houston, so he would be probably my favorite Phoenix guy, but I still don't see myself getting there, for one lineup. Let's check Fantasy Labs one more time here. Wait, what? Andre Drummond will play off the bench? Okay. What the fuck is what is going on today? That is, I don't know what. Oh, he won't start after missing shoot-around. He'll play. Thonmaker starts. Okay, that's not that big of a deal, honestly. He's still going to play. I think he just maybe sits the first 4 minutes or so. Either way, again, I didn't have a whole lot of interest there in Drummond. But now we get to a pretty appealing game here with the Pelicans Trailblazers. This is where I want some exposure. Now on the Pelicans side, I'm not as excited about but the Trailblazers side I'm more excited about. But I do have some interest here on the Pelicans. Ingram probably being my favorite at 8.4K. I think he goes very low owned in the slate. I think he just kind of goes forgotten about, right? There's a lot of guys at similar prices that are in good spots. But I still have interest in Ingram. And right now, I'm targeting a lot of guys on the Portland side. So my build is kind of running it back with one of these Pelicans guys, whether it be Ingram or Drew or maybe even Favors. But I still have interest there in Ingram. I think it goes a lot lower owned. Same thing with Drew. Both those guys, I think just go forgotten about in the slate. But this is an uptown game with Portland, and I like both those guys. And Derrick Favors as well at 5.2. I think he gets about 25 to 28 minutes. The minutes restriction is, up to, again, 28 on the high end. And he can get you there in limited time. So I think Favors is very much viable as well at his price. The other guys, not a whole lot I like. Josh Hart, Lonzo, JJ Redick. With everyone healthy, kind of a stay away. So really it's those big three with Ingram, Drew, and Derrick Favors that I have some interest in. Again, I think all three of those guys go pretty low owned. But then we get to the Portland side. This is where a lot of the guys are going to be chalky. I just don't see myself getting away from a lot of these guys. Lillard, Whiteside, McCollum, love all three. All three are viable for cash games. All three are viable for GPPs. It's just all three are way underpriced in my opinion. Lillard should be like 9 to 9.2K. Whiteside should be like 8.5 to 9K. CJ McCollum should be like 7.5K. Like all three of these guys are way underpriced. I love all three. I really think you can play at least two of these guys in your lineup. Yeah, that's basically what I got, right? I just want to load up on these Portland guys. I really think you can play two of these guys in cash games. They're just underpriced. With Lillard, Whiteside, CJ. If you're going to make me rank them, I think that's tough. I think it would be Whiteside 1, CJ 2, and Lillard 3, just for their prices. But I love all three of those guys a lot. And then we're still waiting on the CARMELO news. He is questionable with that knee. If he misses, Bazemore gets a usage bump. I think he plays about 30 to 35 minutes. We saw him have a pretty solid game. I wouldn't mind him if Melo misses. My main interest would be a guy like Scala BCA, though, a 3.1. He played 26 minutes in the game against Minnesota. He played a lot of the 4, which we saw the last game against Orlando, where he played 24 minutes. So if Melo is out once again, I like Scala a good amount. And I personally would play Scala if we get the news that Melo gets ruled out soon. I would play Scal over Admiral Schofield. But I don't think we're going to get that news, right? And if Melo plays, obviously you can't go Scal. So it's a tricky situation here with a lot of these guys questionable in the later games. But I do like Scal a good amount if CARMELO does miss. And that's the Portland side. Really a lot to like here. Probably my favorite team to target. Lillard, Whiteside, CJ, Scal. Don't mind Bazemore either. That is what I got for the Portland side. And then Houston, Sacramento, these last 2 games I have a lot of interest in. On the Houston side, it's kind of the big 3 for me with Harden, Westbrook, and Capella. I think I'd lean. It's tough. Westbrook's price is under 9K, but Harden's prices come down too. Obviously, Harden has more upside, but you got to play 2K more. I think both are very viable. Yeah, no issue if you want to go to either of those guys. It's just whether or not you feel comfortable with those value plays to get him in. Capella, his price is coming down again. I think he's viable. The cheaper options, don't mind PJ Tucker. Don't know if I'm going to get to House and Malcolm Moore on the slate. I think there's better value plays. So it's those big 3 that I have interest in on the Houston side. On the Sacramento side, I do have a good amount of interest in some of these guys, especially De'Aaron Fox. He's probably my favorite play at this price. I think he stands out as a really good play. Now, I'm just being straight up with you guys right now. Personally, I don't have him in my lineup right now, but he might be someone I pivot to, honestly. Like, he started the last game, played 30 minutes. I think the minutes limit's going to be lifted. I think he could get up to like 35 or so. And if that's the case in a really up-tempo game against Houston, I would love him. And I think he goes maybe a bit lower owned tonight. So he is one of my favorite GPP, if not my favorite GPP play of the night. Again, full disclosure, I currently don't have him in, but I might try to squeeze him in there at that price. I really like him, especially if those minutes are going to go up and he's underpriced in an up-tempo game. So really like Fox as a GPP option. I do have some interest in Marvin Bagley as well. His minutes have slowly been creeping up. Now the concern is they do have Bielitsa, they do have Holmes they can use. So We'll see. If he ends up starting, I'd have more interest there. If he gets like 30 minutes, I would like him. Again, Holmes, you could go there. He's flash upside in limited time. Don't know if I'd go Bielitsa. Bogdan is questionable. If he misses, we could look to a guy like Trevor Ariza, who got some good run. I think about 30 minutes, 33 fantasy points. So he's someone we could look to if Bogdan is out. So there's a decent amount to like here on the Sacramento side. Again, we'll start with Fox. Probably my favorite GBP play of the day. Again, full disclosure, I don't have him in currently, but I do like his upside a lot at that price. Bagley I like. Holmes don't mind. And then Ariza if Bogdan is out. Last game of the night here in Minnesota and Golden State. Another one where we're waiting on injury news, right? Karl-Anthony Towns. He is questionable. I think he is a really, really good tournament play. Probably my second favorite tournament play just because no one is going to have him, right? And if he gets ruled in like 20 minutes before lock, he's going to be under 1% owned. So if you're a guy that's making a lot of lineups, I think you throw him in there one, because if he plays against Golden State, I think he could have an upside game like 60, 70 fantasy points. So he would be one of my favorite GPP plays just because I think he's going to go super low owned, especially if he gets ruled in like way after lock. So just take that into consideration for GPPs. Obviously, if he misses, we could look at a guy like Gorgie Jang, who I think would stand out. Played 36 minutes in that last game. I don't know if we can expect that again because he played 24 in that first game against Denver. It's tricky because they ran a 12-man rotation that game against Denver. It was a little more defined in that Portland game. So I think he would be a guy I would definitely look to if Towns is out, but we're not going to get that news probably till way later. Teague and Wiggins don't mind those guys, but my favorite play here would be a guy like SHABAZZ Napier. And this kind of sucks because he is questionable as well. And I had him in. He stands out as probably my favorite play if he's going to start again, because I think he gets about 25 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. Again, he played 30 in the game against Portland, had 35 fantasy points. So he would be probably my favorite value play if he's going to start, play, and not be limited. If he gets rolled out, I guess I could pivot to a guy like Jared Culver, who maybe gets more run. I wouldn't feel great about that, honestly. But, yeah, full disclosure, again, I do have him in right now. I'm hoping he plays because I really like him as a value play if he does. On the Golden State side, there's a good amount of interest in here as well. D'Angelo Russell, I like at that price point a good amount. I think he goes very low owned, but I think he gets about 32 to 33 minutes. He is their go-to guy. And this is a really up-tempo game against Minnesota. So I do like D'Angelo Russell a good amount at that price point. Draymond Green, don't mind him. But I do like Burks and Damian Lee as well. With no Glenn Robinson. Glenn Robinson was, playing about, honestly, close to 30 minutes. So those minutes have to go somewhere. I think Lee and Burks are the biggest beneficiaries. Maybe Pascal as well. Now, he's been a little bit limited with that knee injury, so I don't think I can target him with confidence. But Burks and Damian Lee, I think, stand out as really solid value plays. You could definitely pivot off those high-owned Washington guys with a guy like Damian Lee or a guy like Alec Burks. Again, I like both those guys a good amount. So, yeah, really, again, brief overview, guys, with games I'm targeting. It's, the first game here, Washington, New York, and then kind of fading a lot of these games until we get to the last three of the night. So it's Washington, New York, and then New Orleans, Portland, Houston, Sacramento, Minnesota, Golden State. I think right now I have all my players from those four games. I do. So that's how I would go about targeting this slate. Again, there are other options you can look to for GPPs, but let me check Twitter one more time to see if we got any more news, and then we can get to questions. Joel Embiid will start. Okay, so with him playing, I don't have a whole lot of interest in those Philadelphia guys. Spurs, Murray, Forbes, DeRozan, Lyles, Aldridge. Let's see. Sixers list starters is Simmons, Richard. Okay, yeah. Oh, Pistons. So Pistons are starting Tim Frazier. And they're starting Steve Mikhailuk. Okay, and they're starting Tony Snell. So let's go back to the Pistons really quick here. So no Kennard, no Bruce Brown. They're pretty thin at the guard position. So, Frazier and Sphere are going to start with Derrick Rose and Galloway coming out the bench. It does worry me a little bit. I don't think Tim Frazier is going to get the 30 minutes. But if he gets 20 to 25, I think he's very much in play at that price point. So I still like him as a value guy. But let's get to some questions here. We're closing in on 100 viewers. Again, if you guys enjoyed this free content, I would appreciate if you could hit that like button. But let's do it. Is Ariza viable? He's definitely viable if Bogdan is out. If Bogdan plays, I'd have no interest there. I like Sabonis with OG defense. Yeah, again, I think Sabonis is perfectly fine. His price I like a lot. So have no issue if you want to go there for GPPs. Sato or Payton. Again, both those guys to only be GPPs, but I would lean towards Elfrid Payton right now. Again, both I would not go there for cash games. Let's see. I see Payton or Burks. That's a close call. That's almost a coin flip for me. My cash lineup is Ish, Beal, Ingram, Randle, McCollum, Scal, and Napier. Hit the button, folks. Let's see. So fading Harden. I am currently fading Harden. Now, I think he is definitely someone you can play in cash games. It's just whether or not do you feel comfortable with the value guys in there, right? If you're playing Harden, again, you're probably playing Beal too. So, yeah, you can get, I mean, there are a lot of good value plays, right? Like Ish Smith, Troy Brown, Shabazz Napier if he plays, Scal, Aaron Holiday. So I think you can definitely do Harden for sure. Yeah, I have no issue there with Harden. What about TJ Warren? Don't think we have to go there today. Let's see. He is 5.2. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see myself getting there. What do you think about Smith, CJ, Troy Brown, Julius Randle, Whiteside, Lillard, Sabonis, and Napier, cash and GPP? I like that a lot. I do. That's very similar to mine as well. I do like that. Can you play CJ, Lillard, and Whiteside on the same lineup? I think you can do it. I don't know if I do it for cash games. I think 2 you can play for cash games. Now, if you're playing all 3 of those guys, I think you maybe run it back with one of those Pelicans guys, whether it be Drew, whether it be Ingram, or whether it be Favors. Because, just game theory, right? If all 3 of those guys do good, probably someone on the other side is going to have a good game as well. So, yeah, for cash games, I don't know if I'd play all 3. I think I'd play, 2 for sure. No Cavs love. No, I do like the Cavs. Like I said, Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love are very much in play. I think both are cash and GPP viable. The issue with them always is, the blowouts, but those 2 guys are someone I could get to. Again, full disclosure, I don't have them in, but I think they're perfectly fine. Aaron Holiday and RHJ or Troy Brown and Damian Lee. Both are good options. I'm going to go Troy Brown and Damian Lee just because RHJ's minutes are a little bit up and down, right? He got more run in that last game, but the bench was doing really well. So, in the previous game, when a lot of those guys were out, he only got 19 minutes. So, I would feel more comfortable with Troy Brown and Damian Lee. Always a good side when I get a smile and a chuckle. Yep, you know the drill. Which combo of those for cash? Yeah, Troy Brown and Damian Lee I would go to. You like Trey Lyles? Not really. No, I don't think we have to do that. I've got Ish, Beal, Lee, Sabonis, Whiteside, Burks, Randle, and Millsap. I do like that. Is Napier's ceiling worth locking him in over Tim Frazier? So that's something I'll leave up to you, right? It's a risky option going Napier for sure. Again, I don't know if we're going to get that news anytime soon. Maybe the safer way to go is just to play Tim Frazier. Again, I don't think Tim Frazier will get like the 30 minutes he did the last game because we do have Derrick Rose back, who I think will get extended run. I don't know. We'll see. The Pistons are really thin in the guard position. Like, I don't know if Derrick Rose and Tim Frazier will play a whole lot together. So that's the worry with Tim Frazier and his minutes, right? I don't see them playing alongside together a whole lot. Lonnie Walker, blow-up game, man, I love his game, damn you, Popovich. Yeah, I do like Lonnie Walker a lot, too. Knox and Satoransky or Tim Frazier and Ingles. Needs a mid-level small forward help. I would go Knox and Satoransky there. I'm not super excited about Sato or super excited about Ingles, but I would prefer Sato to Ingles there. And then Knox and Tim Frazier. I think Knox gets more minutes, so that's why I go Knox and Sato. Holiday and Sabonis or Payton and Jaren Jackson. So it depends if it's cash games or GPPs. Definitely cash games, Holiday and Sabonis. GPPs, you could go to Payton and Jaren Jackson. Again, I do like Elfrid Payton as a GPP option if he hits that high end of the minutes range, right? If he gets like close to 30, I like him. Jaren Jackson Jr., again, only for GPPs. So that's the way I would do it. Holiday and Sabonis is definitely the safer option, while the bottom option is for GPPs. Ish and Beal for GPPs, I think you can play both, yeah. They're just super, super thin. those two would probably be my first two in on the Washington side, and then followed by Troy Brown, and then Schofield. Again, Schofield's a viable, cheap option, right? At 3.5K, I don't think he kills you. I think he gets about over 30 minutes. Napier has triple flows, so watch out. Any locks tonight? I don't use the lock in my vocabulary, but I think, Ish, Beal, and Randle stand out as pretty good options tonight. Thoughts on Holiday, and then the Trailblazers guys too. Thoughts on Holiday or TJ McConnell? Are they in play for value? Yes. So Aaron Holiday for sure for cash games because he's starting. But TJ McConnell also, I think, plays more minutes. And we've seen when he gets like 20 or so minutes, he can get you there. So if I was making a cash game lineup, I would play Aaron Holiday. If I was making a GPP lineup, I would play TJ McConnell. Payton, Beal, Ariza, Randle, Vucevic, Ish, Ibaka, Jang, or Payton, Beal, Bazemore, Randle, Vucevic, Ish, Ingram, Scale. I would go that bottom option. Again, I don't think I would play Alfred Payton in cash games. If that's GPPs, that's perfectly fine. Bazemore is an okay option. Again, if Carmelo plays, I don't know if I'd get to Bazemore. Yeah, so a lot of that is kind of dependent on news too. The top option too with Ariza, right? Like I would not even consider Ariza if Bogdan plays. So there's a lot still up in the air. What's your cheapest pick? Well, there's a lot of other guys I like, right? I really like Shabazz if he plays. I like Scal. I like those Washington guys with Ish. Stands out as a really good play. Don't mind Schofield or Troy Brown. I think Tim Frazier's a viable option. Let's see, Fox, McCollum, Schofield, Knox. Knox as well as a value guy, right? Fox, McCollum, Schofield, Knox, Vucevic, Russell, Bagley, Whiteside. Yeah, that is perfectly fine. No issues with that at all. You are fading both Beal and Ish. It's a risky option, right? I don't think I would do that for cash games, but for GPPs, that's perfectly fine. Any Buddy Hield love, I don't mind them. I just like the upside a bit more with De'Aaron Fox. So, yeah, if you get to Buddy Hield and you really feel strong about that, you can do it. I just like De'Aaron Fox more. Thoughts on this lineup? Smith, Harden, Osman, Schofield, Sabonis, TJ McConnell, Randle, and Lillard. Yeah, that is... I don't mind that. Osman's not a guy I'm super excited about, but I think his minutes will go up with no Nance. And then, Schofield's a viable, cheap option. TJ McConnell for GPPs. Yeah, so I don't have an issue with that. Dame, Drew, Knox, Randle, Whiteside, CJ, Scal, Barrett. Sorry if you already touched on all these guys. I got here late. Yeah, so that's a really solid lineup in my opinion. I like a lot of those Trailblazers guys. You have Whiteside. You do have Whiteside, CJ, and Dame, but you're running it back with Drew. And then you got Barrett and Knox and Randle on the next side with Scale. That's perfectly fine. Again, you are fading both Ish and Beal. I think that's a bit risky. I don't think I would do that for cash games. I think I'd probably play Ish and Beal in cash games. Maybe not Beal. His price is up, but I just think with Washington so short-handed, Beal for cash games, I don't see myself getting away from him. Why is Sabonis getting love? His price point, right, 7.8K. It's not really the best spot, but he's just super safe, and he does have upside in him too. Like, I don't think if you place a bonus, he's going to get you like 20 fantasy points, right? Like, I think on the low end, he probably gets you 35, and the high end, we've seen him get 50 plus, right? Aaron Gordon, not really for me. If I was going to play a Magic guy, it would be Vucevic. You think Pascal gets good run? Don't know, right? He's been somewhat limited with that knee injury. I can't target him with confidence. It would be Burks and Damian Lee as those secondary pieces that I do like. Troy Brown or Kevin Knox. If you had the salary, I would get to Troy Brown, but both are viable cheap options that I do have interest in. GPP line is Ish, Beal, Lee, Randle, Whiteside, Fox, Knox, CJ. Yeah, I like that a lot as well. Let's see. We got any more news here? Jazz, normal starters. Heat, normal starters. Let's see. OG defending Sabonis too. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really bother me if you get to Sabonis. Bryn Forbes. Those secondary Spurs guys, you can take shots on. I just never feel great about it, really. Like, where's Forbes? Forbes is 3.3K. He's just very scoring dependent, right? We've seen it in the last two games where he played 22 and 19 minutes. 7 and 6 fantasy points. But if he's shooting well, like in this game against Houston, 24 fantasy points. So I just can't target that with confidence. Same thing with Mills and White. Like those guys are very up and down. Yeah, I can't do it personally. Thoughts on Ish, Beal, Knox, Millsap, Vucevic, McCollum, Favors, and Whiteside. Single entry double up. I think that's a pretty safe option, a pretty safe cash game lineup for sure. Yeah, I like that a lot. What center would you roll with today on FanDuel? I guess I can bring up FanDuel real quick on my phone. Again, I don't really play on FanDuel, but let's see. It's going to make me log in. Hold on. I mean, I like Whiteside a lot. Let's see what... when we go to NBA. See what these prices are looking like. Center, FanDuel. I mean, I don't mind Jokic at that price. I think Whiteside's price is up to 9K. Vucevic, Vucevic and Whiteside are a similar price on DraftKings, but Vucevic is 7.7 on FanDuel. Tristan Thompson, I don't mind. I think it would be Vucevic or Whiteside. I think I might lean towards Vucevic on FanDuel just because he's a lot cheaper. Let's see. Morris is out for New York. Does Robinson and Randle get a boost? So Randle for sure. Robinson gets a boost because Taj Gibson is out, but it's all about whether or not he can stay on the floor with his foul trouble issues, right? If he does, I think Robinson could push for 30 minutes, and if that's the case, I do like his upside, but again, he's always in foul trouble. McCollum or Fox, that's really close. I love both those guys. I will go CJ for cash games and Fox for GPPs. Who's Ish? Ish Smith on Washington, the point guard with no Isaiah Thomas. He's going to start and probably play over 30 minutes. Fox for GPP. Yep, exactly. Thoughts on Portis or Barton? I'll go Barton over Portis. His salary doesn't matter. Do you like Draymond Green? I don't mind him. I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. Like I like D'Angelo Russell at the top for Golden State, and then probably Burks and Lee for a bit cheaper than Draymond. Draymond would probably be my 4th favorite play in Golden State. So yeah, not super excited about him. I got Westbrook, Hield, Capella, Fox, Harden. Yeah, so you're just stacking that game. I mean, that's viable for sure as long as you feel confident with those cheaper plays. I have Fox, McCollum, Lee, Randle, Sabonis, Lillard, Favors, and Jam. Who's that? Are you talking about Lamb? Who's that last guy you're talking about? I told you all what I got. But yeah, the reason why I like Fox a lot for GPPs is just because I think those minutes go up a little bit. It's a really up-tempo game for Sacramento, at least, playing Houston, and his price is down. So that's why I like him a lot for GPPs, and I think he goes lower owned. Again, I don't have him in my cash game lineup. Again, I'm only making one lineup, so I don't know if I'm going to get there, full disclosure. We'll see. I could mix some things around, but that's why I like him as a GPP option. Same thing with ELFRID Payton, right? At his price, if he gets like 30 minutes, he can get you there. But both those guys, I don't know if I get there for cash. GL tonight, yeah, good luck, man. A Sabonis or Whiteside, as much as I hate to say it, I got to lean Whiteside just because it's the better spot, but I love Sabonis. Yeah, like I said, it pains me to say, but I got to lean Whiteside there. Yes, Lamb. Yeah, so Lamb, I'm not super excited about Jeremy Lamb. He's coming off the injury. They have other guys they can use. He's not going to play huge minutes, right? They have Justin Holiday they can use. Like, he's not getting his like 35 minutes like he was earlier in the season. I don't think I would play Jeremy Lamb tonight, personally. Like, if we're talking about summer prices for guys at summer, the Jeremy Lamb, he's what, 4.6. Like Gorgie Jang, I would much prefer if Cat is out. Ish Smith, if you don't have Ish. So do you have Ish? Fox, McCollum, Lee, Randle. Yeah, I would definitely go Ish Smith over Jeremy Lamb there, for sure. But we're at lock, so I can go over some ownership guys in the first game. Let's see. Ooh, trade summary. Clarkson just got traded, so hopefully you didn't play Clarkson tonight. Clarkson traded for Dante Exum. Yeah, we're still waiting on the news with SHABAZZ and Cat. I just saw that. Thanks, man. Good luck. Smash that motherfucking like button, fellas. Appreciate that, man. Good luck. Hopefully win some money tonight. Last big slate, or last slate before Christmas. Really excited about that. When do you realize way too late you didn't submit a lineup and the contest filled? Laugh my ass off. Oh. Yeah, that sucks. I think that's happened to me once before where I thought I entered and it didn't. But okay, let's look at some ownership. First, I'll look in the single entry, double up $5. I'll look at some ownership here for these guys. Yeah, so kind of what I expected, right, for cash games. Ish Smith 78%, Beal 70%, Randle 70%. That's the way I would have started it for cash games for sure with those three. Let me look for GPPs to see what their ownership is. So we got Ish Smith at 63%. This is in the $40 single entry. Ish Smith is 63%. Brad Beal 53%. Randle 55%. So I knew those guys would be somewhat popular. Let's see if I can find some other guys and their ownerships in this tournament. Bobby Portis has picked up 5%. Vucevic at 14%. Elfrid Payton at 19%. Again, I liked Elfrid Payton a lot for GPPs. KNOX came in at 16%. Boucher at 8%. Mitchell Robinson 19%. Trae Young 2%. Troy Brown 13%. Let's see. Barnes a good play. Harrison Barnes, right? There's no other Barnes, is there? Yeah, 5.5. I'm not super excited about that either. Fine if you get to it, but I'm not going to go out of my way. I put Lamb instead of Smith. F. Well, hopefully Jeremy Lamb can get you there in like 25 or so minutes. Thanks, buddy. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. I wonder if Clarkson gone does good for my. Yeah, that's very true. That does that does a lot for CD in my opinion. Like I think CD now probably gets over 30 minutes. I mean, they do have other guys. They have Kevin Porter Jr. They have some guys that can like fire up off the bench, I guess. But I would feel more confident now with my CD shares for sure. That is a good point. Aaron Holiday, 19%. Schofield, 27%. Right? So it looks like a lot of people are going with him as a value guy. I don't have an issue with him. I'm just taking the risk and hoping that Napier plays and that Melo is out because I do like Seattle. I do like Napier a good amount. But I definitely didn't mind Schofield as value play. I knew it would be somewhat popular. Clarkson was 1.6% owned in $12 single entry. Rip those entries. Yeah, that would suck. I would be super tilted if I did like a whole lot of research, played a decent amount of money, and then like my player right after lock gets traded. that would be one of the more tilting things for sure. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I really appreciate all you guys coming to check out the live stream again. We got close to 100 viewers again. I'm gonna have that video up for the Christmas slate later tonight or tomorrow. Really excited about that. Might do a giveaway there too. We'll see. But if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, make sure to do that. That is in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as we get the injury news throughout the night. Again, we're still waiting on a decent amount of stuff, so it is very important to follow me on Twitter if you don't. But thanks again for everyone to check out the live stream. I will see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow for my Christmas video, and then I'll probably be live streaming for that as well. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you later.